today is really a highlight, a real milestone in our journey. It's just so gratifying to see all the fellows, to witness the leadership growth, to attend an intergenerational leaders dialogue. And this is a very, very important message, a very important theme that we are discussing today, the issue of family legacy, building family leadership for strengthening family leadership for social transformation. And this is a major milestone in this year's cohort of the iCON Leadership Academy, where we're bringing together an intergenerational audience to discuss and deliberate on how to build a family leadership legacy.
You must welcome our dear guests to the iCON Leaders Dialogue. My name is Patience Rebecca Mutoni, and I will be your moderator for today. So before we start off, the reason we are here is to celebrate leadership, celebrate family leadership, and how we can take action to create the change that we want to see. So the theme of our dialogue today is building family leadership, a family leadership legacy for social transformation. We are here at Mother Care, and we would like to appreciate Mother Care Preparatory School for continuing to be our partners, for giving us this platform, and to thank you all for taking the time to come today. Now, before we get into the dialogue, I want to tell you more about iCON. Who is this iCON that you have been hearing? iCON Enterprise Foundation is a Ugandan family-focused organization that is committed to strengthening the role of family in creating entrepreneurial leaders, fostering equity, social cohesion, and building the capacity of our young children and young people, specifically in the field of leadership. At iCON, we also work with families that are in distress and communities that have been affected by gender discrimination, social, economic, cultural, and environmental challenges. And why are we here today is to have a leaders dialogue where we understand the need for leadership, family leadership specifically, in building a legacy, okay? And we are guided by our call to action, which is strengthening family leadership for social transformation. We envision a world with resilient, peaceful, thriving families that are transforming their communities. So at this juncture, please allow me to invite Mrs. Irene Mutumba to open us off with the keynote speaker's address. Thank you. A round of applause as she comes.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Always a pleasure to be among leaders, young and old and in between, and all of us who are retired but not tired. And today, looking at our theme, building a family leadership legacy for social transformation. We've done a lot of work, and I know that I'll need to maybe come back for a training in all this by you. But I would like to concentrate on family leadership legacy. We can do quite a lot, but what are we doing within our own families, within the people around us? And I know in families, of course, we have the heads, mom, dad, the kids, and maybe other extended family members. But so we have the inner circle, the nuclear family, and the external. So how are we infusing leadership within that? Sometimes we can do quite a lot and we forget the inner circle in terms of the legacy. I will not go into the details, but as a story, I was married but widowed in 2022. So that's where I started actually thinking about, we have all these, we have our families around, our parents, our grandparents. So how are we emulating them through legacy? So for me, I say to myself that, I've done a lot of this work in several spaces, but now it has to come back to me, because I want my work to continue in one way or the other through my family. I don't want things to end, my work, my effort to end with me. And more so, my husband. So that was something that he was a medical doctor, he loved kids a lot, and he was a public health consultant, doing a lot of work in nutrition and child health. So one of the things that I started off with was to, how are we going, we are not going to be crying forever, but we need to celebrate him in a way, in terms of something he loved doing, and something that I want him to be remembered for. So, but good enough, we had a company between me and him. So it was called Mujimo Healthcare. So I said, wow, this is one way of actually keeping his legacy through a project which can continue actually working within the hospitals and the communities. So I now mentioned to my kids that now, how are you going to get involved? So each of them, I found out what their strengths are and allocated them different roles in terms of that particular project. And as leaders, we inspire others. And when you inspire, you don't stop there. You keep mentoring, coaching, training, and exposing. So that's basically what I am doing in that space. Leadership to keep a legacy. So that's a really practical way of an example. And then, of course, we started thinking of all other things. What can we do? We are not so rich, but we have a few things around. So I said, for us, we worked so hard to acquire all these things. And much as we could give them to you, we don't want our legacy to stop there. So we had this family meeting, and we said, how do we keep these projects, these assets going forward? So a practical way of doing that as a family, I have a stream of companies. So I made my children directors of those companies. And we went ahead to say, let us start a trust. Because a trust will keep the legacy going on in terms of projects, in terms of activities, in terms of them emulating us as the parents. So the thought for you here, what are you doing in that line? Because it is very easy to start off projects, activities, and they'll just die away when you are no more. And it doesn't, you need to start now infusing that leadership, that legacy within the people around you. So start within. I think globally we can look at companies like maybe Marks and Spencer, Walmart, any other examples. Those are companies that existed long time ago. I don't know in you. Okay, sometimes here it is a family business. One thing that I also found out about that is that sometimes when you mention business, quickly the issue around getting rich and profit comes around, isn't it? Yes. But sometimes if you tweak it a bit and call it, it still remains a business, a legacy. You're running projects. But the thought does not quickly come to money. I need to gain a lot of money. I am going to sell this. I am going to do this. I have to be richer. So how now do we tweak, that language to bring in the social element, because if we are going to have the social transformation that we are talking about, we need to have those kind of investments, non-financial versus financial. So as leaders, we need to, if you're going to inspire others, you need to lead by example. Because a person, you're going to inspire someone by your values, by the things that you have done. You know? Having emotional intelligence. You have to be able to communicate effectively. You have to be able to empower your family members. Now what I'm doing is basically, mentoring them, coaching them, exposing them to and that doesn't mean that they have to leave whatever work they do or their careers, but how do they align the values of social transformation within what they're actually doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has to be very, very intentional, very deliberate, to go back and look through. So now I'm a little bit at peace, knowing very well that they know, what is in my heart, and I have actually started on them in terms of participating, engaging, empowering them in the family leadership. That's why we see that we talk about the Indians. Isn't that what they do? Don't they work with the young kids? I mean, they are very deliberate in that. The Jews. Who else? Do the Chinese do that? Who else? But I think those are some of the examples. You're asking, why? Because you have to start. In PEDN, our slogan is start early. So you have to start early, infusing those very skills in terms of, and also know, the importance, the purpose of legacy. I think we all have our names, who were baptized. I'm sure those names did not come from space, isn't it? Our parents sat down and said, oh no, katinja kumutuma Rebecca. Why Rebecca? Maybe they are picking something from the Bible. Maybe they are, it's something in the community. Maybe it was a jaja. So the old folks were very intelligent. So they had purpose for all these things. And I always look back and, Google or ask relatives about my children's names, and I always tell them, you are named this and this because of this and this, because of this jaja, over uncle, over auntie, and you have to emulate because that's the legacy. So bringing it down in simple terms, you have even to think about, you can even go on Google and say, Irene, who is Irene, and then you can see the good aspects of Irene, and then you are inspired, and then you emulate, and then it starts with you, your family, and then it spreads to the community. So I want you to be very firm in terms of looking at those two aspects, the self-leadership and family leadership, because I think it is the foundation of good workplace leadership and community leadership. It really has to start with you and your family, and then you can spread it to others, because you cannot give what you don't have, isn't it? It has to be coming from you. So you have to be very intentional, very strategic in terms of the projects and finding out how can this 1-year-old or this one, how can you engage them in different ways. So I really advocate for the legacy bit of it, so that with all your efforts in your life, in your families, in your communities, we can still have a database of legacy individuals in the country. But I'm so excited by the movement of what iCON we are creating as fellows, and as fellows, these are some of the things that we need to do, and we need to have them practically, so that people can actually see it. Thank you so much, and looking forward to the conversations.
Thank you, Mrs. Irene. Let's add her another. I thought it was very touching. Yes. For me, what were some of the key takeaways? You know, I have to create action points, homework from the teacher today. What steps are you taking? For those that have notebooks, I hope you are noting. What steps or practical actions are you taking to create a legacy? How are you emulating your purpose, your values, through your family, through your work? So thank you so much, Mrs. Irene. We really appreciate all your knowledge, a very powerful resource for us at iCON. And now we are going to go into the session or the panel discussion where we hear from them and learn from their wisdom. And I'll start off with Mr. Bob Tayewa. Mr. Bob, in your vast experience as a financial advisor, what practical steps, what actionable strategies can help families to improve on their financial literacy, their financial planning, saving and investing?
Thank you, Patience. Yeah, we are from ICEA, and we are so delighted to be here as part of this arrangement. Special thanks to Mrs. Serwada for having invited us at short notice. We always feel very, very privileged to be able to speak to people like you who have a vision, and I believe you guys have a vision, not so? Yes, because the Bible says that a nation without a vision does what? Perishes. And that is where really we drive the kind of work that we do, that we really want families to have a vision. And for the question that you asked, one of the practical things as families that we need is to have a vision, to have goals. You find that without goals, we cannot achieve much. And that is why at ICA we say we are there to maintain wealth, to grow it, because all these things tie into vision. So why we are here also is also to disseminate information on how we can be able to do that. And in case you have time to visit our table, we have some flyers, we have some brochures, because we might not be able to finish everything here. But to answer your question, one of the practical things, you know, they say money does not give us happiness, but can make work very easy. It might not buy all the happiness in the world, but it can make work very easy. So at ICA, we believe a family that does not have financial stability has a lot of challenges. And as a matter of fact, we find that over 80% of quarrels come from what? Come from money. And we will bear witness that money causes a lot of issues in families. And we believe if at all we can be able to at least have that sorted out, we shall have a very wonderful and prosperous family that can actually work and even be able to plan for the future. So number one, how is your financial stability at home? And of course, when you talk of money, it is so wide we cannot finish it. But all we say is that a family that first of all prays together, okay, then plans together, really makes it so big. Because a lot of people, you find the husband is on another side, the wife is planning differently, this money is mine, the other one says this money is mine. So you find there's a lot of trouble as far as planning is concerned. So when we talk of planning, we are meaning, do we have family goals? Ladies and gentlemen, do you sit down with your spouse, with your children? And I want to thank iCON for even having invited some children here, because we believe the journey to financial freedom starts with our very young children. How are they understanding the values of money? How are they being able to get at least taught about money and how to save and how to invest? All those things come with the way we bring up our children. So number one, on that family table, is money discussed? We've talked of family businesses, and thank you to my other colleague Herbert here with the family business. All those things cannot come from nowhere. A family should have sat somewhere with the wife, and then we said, you know what, we want to go here. And how do we go here? Of course, those are strategies that I want to give you that we can actually apply today. But number one, do you have goals as a family? And that is for money today and money tomorrow. Because you find that right now, there's nothing much you can do about the you of today. You're already here. Whatever you don't have, you don't have. Not so. But then the you of tomorrow, 5 years from today, 10 years from today, there's a lot that you can do about that kind of person today. And those are the goals that you have to be able to sit down as a family. And one of the goals, of course, that we pray and that we talk about, education. I think the things that take the highest number of money from families is education and of course home ownership. But most likely education is going to take a very different toll on our families if at all we do not plan on that. So you have a kid now is in P1. What about their secondary school? What have you thought about that? What about university? What are you doing about that kind of person today? And those are the things that we believe are very practical, that we have solutions for at ICEA. That today you can start a plan for your kid who is in P1, and by the time the kid is in secondary school, you have the money actually to last through secondary school and up to university. So education, very, very important. We did a research about 3 years ago. We discovered to educate a child in Uganda today from nursery up to university, you need like 55 million shillings. Only one child. Now you can be a witness how many parents today on your account you have 55 million shillings on your account. It's going to be extremely hard. But how many children do we have? Of course, on average, they said an average household in Uganda has around 4 children. Did you know that? So 4 times 55 is what? The quick mathematicians. Is what, my boss? 200? Over 200 million, guys. It is going to be very, very difficult unless we plan. To get 200 million to see your children through school. And what do we do about it? Is today. You will not wake up after 2 or 5 or 10 years and say, now I want to plan for my child's university, for example. That 100,000 today, I can tell you, will make a big, big, big move tomorrow. So education, that one we cannot really debate a lot about it. What about home ownership? You find that a lot of families, of course, a lot of money goes into what? Into rent, goes into transport. All these things need us to plan about them. Where are we going to be in the next 5? Are we still going to be renting? Are we going to still be running around, here and there, looking for, the cheapest house here and there, or we are going to plan for our homes in the next 5 or 10 years? So home ownership, another key thing to plan for. But then what about family businesses? Very important that we have stability through family businesses. So most families that have developed that nature of having a business, they have really thrived financially, because you find that they are not struggling with money. At least there's money for food, there's money for health. So do you have a family business that you're thinking about? Very critical for you to think about. Then the other one is, of course, health. In Uganda, they say a family is almost, financially crippled whenever there's an unexpected health matter to any family member. Some families completely go down completely in their finances by using up all their savings. So how have you planned about the health of the parents, of the children? Do you have an insurance policy? And some of these things you find people are scratching their heads. They do not understand, how do we ensure the lives of our children, that in case of any challenge, because we were here in COVID and you heard how people were going to ICU, and then the cost of oxygen was how much? 5 million, 10, 20. Where does that family get that money to save this person? You have to plan for that through, for example, insurance. So all these things are there, the mitigant measures are there, but it's because sometimes we are not literate, or we have not taken time to read and understand and even engage on some of these things. And these things are very cheap. For families that have taken up these things, we find that they have time to plan and be able to implement these things. So to answer your question, you have to think about the goals. Then number 2, you have to save. You do not have an option away from saving. You have to save, because they say the money that you've saved today does what? Saves you later. And that is really something to do with saving, because we believe it is really very, very important. And even in the Bible, as I close, I will tell you, even God himself ordained long-term saving. If you can go to your Bibles later after here and read Genesis 41, you will find that God himself was saying, you know what? There's going to be a time for famine, and a time for what? For plenty. And actually, the text there says 7 years of plenty and 7 years of what? Of famine. So meaning he was even directing us to long-term what? Saving. How do I put money aside today that in 7 years' time, I can actually take care of my family? So do you have a long-term saving strategy that 7 years from today, 10 years, we are going to be able to enjoy? Our life expectancy in Uganda now has gone to 67, 68 according to the last census. What does that mean? We are actually living longer than before. So what does that mean to you? It means there is a chance that you're even going to outlive probably your parents. How are you going to outlive them without financial stability? Okay, so these are things that challenge us. We think about ourselves now, but then think about ourselves later. What kind of future are we building for ourselves, for our children, for our loved ones? So critically to think about, and the strategies and the methods, we have them right here. We have bank accounts, we have insurance policies, we have health insurance, we have things that pay us interest each and every day that we put money, for example, an insurance company, and all these things can grow your money and you invest it, and it's able to help you tomorrow. So to answer your question, save, invest, plan, and think about yourself, not only today, but think about the you of when? Of tomorrow. Thank you very much, Patience.
So we are going to proceed to our next panelist, and that is our lovely fellow Herbert. So Mr. Herbert Mukasa, fellow Herbert, we would love to hear from you today about your experience as a business owner, a male leader in the family. What key lessons have you learned about building a sustainable family enterprise? In your bio, we heard that you're working with your wife. You have now a baby girl, a daughter that you're raising, that I believe you have plans to also involve in the business. So how can we, other parents here, also begin to build those sustainable family businesses? Thank you.
First and foremost, as a family leader, especially men, you're the vision bearers of your families. So you have to be leaders so that the rest can follow you. So when you do something well, people will always reach out to you. So you don't have to suffer a lot. And then another one, you're supposed to develop a succession plan. Yeah, so the succession plan is really good so that the business, because I want my business to get to another generation. So I tapped the blessing from my mother. Now it's on me, and so it has to get to my daughter and even the rest of the children that God will have blessed us with. And then you're also supposed to establish clear roles and responsibilities, and also foster open communication. Communication is key in everything that we are doing, and I think the three of us have talked about open communication, because communication encourages us to, as family members, to ensure that whatever is communicated is very clear, and you get to understand what the other person has been talking about, to prevent those conflicts and the like. And then finally, about building sustainable family enterprises, you have to emphasize professionalism. If you're not professional, you can't bring out something like that. So you have to be professional when you're doing whatever you're doing, and passionately. It's not that, you know, let it come out of your heart that you're doing something passionately. Who knows? I'm going to end up doing cakes for the State House. And you have to be positive, you know, because opportunities get to those who are prepared.
Now, finally, we are going to go to our special Mama Seru Kenya. Yes. Mama Seru Kenya, you are a visionary leader and inspiration to many. And today, we hope to hear from you in your experience over these 33 years, since 1992, those are 33 years for those who didn't know. 33 years of building this dream. What are some of the challenges that you have faced, especially in balancing family and work? I know you worked with Mr. Seru Kenya. How was that relationship? And also in entrepreneurship, what challenges did you face, and how were you able to overcome and ensure that 33 years later, Mother Care is still standing stronger than ever? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Starting is not easy. Will I be able? I'm working with my family. Diana is Diana there. Yes, they call her Teacher Diana. Teacher Diana has a master's degree, and she helps me with administration. I also work with Rita, my daughter. That one did social sciences. She helps me. She's very she's able to move around. We call her, she's our estates manager. One of our family, we did them. kakati ntandise okukwata akaggo n'okumpita mulaba bwe nduddeyo. I take time to come because I'm old and getting weak, but I'm happy. At least I have people, even if I'm weak like this, nina abasobola okutwala ekintu maaso. Thank you very much. Una Farm Foundation.
So we are now going to transition to a Q&A session, question and answer session. I know some of you during these discussions, you might have had some specific questions that were not addressed. But before we do that, my apologies. I would like to give an opportunity to the children of iCLA to also share their experiences. And we have a representative, Briella, Fela Briella. A round of applause as she comes. Fela Briella here is one of our very active iCLA fellows. We have 2 clubs, Boy to Leadership Star and Girls to Leadership Star. And Briella Esse here is one of our fellows. So she's going to share from the children, what do they think on this theme of building family leadership?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ese Briella, a proud member of iCON Children Leadership Academy. I am like a representative for the children. The theme of today is building a family leadership legacy for social transformation. A legacy can simply be a good remembrance. My points today are involving the family in socio-economic developments. You make especially with the children. So, I'm here to talk about it. We must involve our children, parents, in the jobs we do as people. Let me take an example. Our dear director, Miss Edith Serikenia. She started this institution when our principal, Miss Diana Lubuera, was still young and other children. But soon, she joined the board. Right now, she's the principal of this wonderful institution. And we as children, we still believe that mother care will still be running even after Miss Edith's departure.
So we are coming to question and answer. By show of hands, please feel free to raise your hands. I bring the mic to you. If you have a question for any of our panelists, we want to have this session short for about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much, Fellow Rebecca. My question is always coming from how to balance work with family. Because some of us reach a point of when family overpowers work, to the extent we even involve families' problems into our workplace. If not, the reverse is true. We involve work into family, to the extent we shift offices from home to families. How can we be able to balance this?
Good afternoon, everyone. My question was, so if you involve your families in your work, are they supposed to build a legacy? They are supposed to join the same work as you do, or they have their own minds to make of what jobs they do?
My name is Martin Kagweri, and I'm working with iCON as a communications lead. And my question today is being directed to Mr. Bob. So as a youth living in Uganda's current economy, one of the struggles we find is everyone is telling us invest, 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 save money, save money, save money. So we are saving our money in our banks. It's we have our small money, and now another person comes and tells us invest. Our friends are doing rentals, they're having problems. People have done businesses, they're still having problems. So we are stuck with, where should I take my money? You know, because people are coming to us and they have these crazy plans. I have a 10-year plan for you. And me, I'm like, when will I get my money in 10 years? I'm a youth making small money. When will it, pile to the 10 years? We are looking for something that is sustainable in the long run. Thank you very much.
My name is Fellow Silva. I also wanted to ask still a question that goes between the saving and the investing. Because now, as youth that are coming up, there is saving, but when do I invest after saving? When do I save? Because when you save, it may not grow. When you invest, it will grow. But you may invest and you don't save, and since you're saying what you save today helps you tomorrow, what if I invest and I don't save? How? What is the connectivity between the two things? Thank you very much.
My name is Fellow Mariette Namiro, and I was so happy when I had one of the panelists talk about mental health. It's one of the issues that is rapidly growing among we the youth. And I believe one of the causes is lack of knowledge on how to manage stress. So I wanted to ask the panelists today, how best can we the youth manage stress amidst our fighting so hard to attain our goals and achieve our dreams? Thank you.
My question is, how can we balance interests, ambitions of the family members in order to maintain unity? Because I saw that unity of the family is very key in the leadership. How do we balance interests and ambitions that comes up within the family to maintain unity? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, the audience. I think I'm going to answer 3 questions. One from Moganzi. He talked about, okay, yes, children have to be involved in parents' businesses and the like. The answer is yes and no. Why? I'm just going to give you a practical thing. Do we all know Jessa Farm? Jessa, you've all taken Jessa yogurt and all that stuff. That was Mr. Morana who left, I think, 10 years ago. But this gentleman was able to train his daughter and the boy in to be a part of that a part of the Morana group. One of them is called Barbara and then Geoffrey. But Barbara, yes, you can do other professions here and there, but you can incorporate them in your parents' businesses, just like Diana and what's the other name? Rita. They went and studied administration and the like, but they're not teachers just like their mother, but they are trying to ensure that mother care will get to another level. And so that is what even Morana did. Barbara got into all the things because the father told her all the nitty-gritty of getting to, making sure that Jessa gets to another level and other business entities within the Morana group. That's why they are still moving ahead. So have I answered you? Then second one, Nicholas, work-life balance. Family time is a non-negotiable appointment, so you have to schedule the time. That one there's no option. And then mental health. Someone asked about mental health. Mental health is is really key. You have to surround yourself with people, I told you, that add value to you. If you have a very nasty environment around you, just try to avoid it. Because there are sometimes you can receive a call from someone and that person is just insulting you, doing what or that. You just keep silent, and you can even courteously hold up, and then you ensure you kind of like meditate upon. I told you have to meditate every time. And as Christians, we also have to be in fellowships that help us to, build ourselves emotionally. And most of the answers that we need are in the Bible. That's what I can tell you guys. That Bible helps us to learn a lot so that we can navigate through life's challenges.
Thank you, Herbert. It will not take a lot of time. The questions were almost the same to me, investing and saving, and I will use more of examples. Gentlemen, I think you need to be attentive. Okay, thank you. So saving and investing, what are we talking about? These are things that usually confuse people. We know that saving, the way you have a saving account in a bank, you don't really earn a lot of money there. Not so. But what do we say, even saving on our side? Interest is not so much on saving. But what we say is that in order to do any business, you need capital. So how do you get that capital? Either you go to the bank for a loan, or you save towards that. Are you with me? So you can say, in case I want to just get this capital, let me first save this money for this time. And of course, we have to start with what is your goal. Because I can tell you, if at all you don't have a goal, someone is going to come and say, hey, chicken is actually earning money. You will go there. Next time, hey, you go to Obumyu. Next time they have what? Pigs. Then you go there. Then supplies. So what is your goal as a person? What do you feel you're strong at? Another one will say, real estate now is working out. People are getting this, as you were saying, and then you find you're actually running there. So you as a person, have you defined your goal and what you're really good at? That is actually something that we find people struggle so much with. They just save, but then probably some have a goal, others don't. But along the way, as you pray, I hope you are a prayerful person. Not so. God will probably start to lead you to exactly what probably you're good at. I can give you an example. In 2011, I started a saving plan with my wife. It was a 10-year plan. We had one child that time, and we were thinking maybe it could be only education. But along the way, we started to discover we had to start a family business. Now, come 2021, remember we started the plan in 2011. 2021, if you recall very well, it was what? COVID time. Now, our policy of 10 years matures in 2021. We were getting around 25 million shillings. We were just saving around 150,000 just to try. But because of patience and consistency, we finished in 2021. We got our 25 million. Along the way, of course, that time, our kids were where? Remember, in COVID time, kids were at home. So we would not say that was really a very priority right now at that time. We said, why don't we start a family business? All of a sudden, my wife had really wanted to start a bridal business. You know those bridal things. We started a business in 2021. I can tell you that plan, we didn't have it 10 years ago when we were starting. And it has really picked up so much that she has a lot of customers now, and she's able to thank even that idea that we did 10 years ago. So what I'm telling you, even if it means just saving, you do not know what actually the goal comes out along the way. Today you have one goal, tomorrow it can shift to something else. But the most important thing, do you have something to start with? And that's the capital that we are talking about, that at least you have something. So even if you're not sure about your business, we're not saying everyone will have a goal today. Just start. Trust me, 5 years from today, you'll say, thank you so much, God. I have my 10 or 15 million. Because along the way, something will come through and you'll be able to do it. The only thing that differentiates you from the rest is actually two things. Discipline, okay, and consistency.
Somebody asked about how they can manage stress. Stress. Stress, we all have it. Even as I was coming here, I had some stress. But to avoid it, try to be with people. Don't keep yourself in isolation. Make friends. Make friends. I had friends, or I have friends whom I just call, just to laugh. Early in the morning when you slept so badly, then you call. Someone calls you, nagamba ugamba chi. Nagamba, nkuye kuseka. And when you start laughing, and that will be the end of everything. Because you have a friend you can laugh with. So managing stress, make friends, and get those real friends who you can even be able to laugh with. Laughing is medicine.
That is my name, Isaac Ojok. I'm a proud iCON Fellow, Cohort 2024-2025. I want to begin by thanking God for giving us the opportunity to be in this room today. I request we give God a thunderous hand clap. I want us also to give a wonderful hand clap to our panelists. You've been so amazing. Our vision bearer of iCON, we can't thank you enough. I want to say that iCON is no longer a leadership academy, but I think we should call it a leadership laboratory. Seeing a young girl like this who has just given us wonderful remarks, I think it's what we call intergenerational transformation. We talk to them and they also talk to us. I think that's something that we should emulate from iCON. I want to end by saying, may God bless iCON, God bless you all, and journey masses back home until we meet again. Thank you.
Our iCON Leadership Academies are the mechanisms through which we grow leaders. And the iCON 4-dimensional leadership model is what guides us as we engage with the different leaders as they grow. Our focus is building the personal level of leadership, the family leadership level, the workplace or occupation or school leadership level, and then the community public service leadership. Our model is basically trying to grow leaders in all areas of their lives, the 4 dimensions of their lives. And we believe at iCON that if each citizen, if each individual is growing in these areas and is balanced, then that is what contributes to changing mindsets, enabling us to nurture entrepreneurial leaders who then create the social transformation we'd like to see.
My highlight as a fellow has been the refresher course that has taken me back to appreciate the importance of the now. As an individual, I'm reminded that I do not have more time with me to decide or to start on the different goals that I want. So I'm reminded to start with the baby steps, to start now. If in terms of finances, I need to make an impact to the individual, to my family, to the workplace, to the community, I need to start with the planning with myself. How am I able to, am I serving? Am I able to make a difference? Am I impacting? Am I thinking of investing? In the emotional aspect, am I able to understand other people's feelings and be able to work alongside them in the workplace? And at the end of the day, be able to make an impact to someone else? Am I becoming a leader who is going to look out for others or just myself? So in this, the Academy trains fellows. It equips us with the skills that we need to be transformational leaders.
My message to the fellows today is to be able to take care of their finances. Not only do they have to plan for today, but also to plan for tomorrow, because we believe in a financially stable family, financially stable Ugandans. we can contribute to the economic transformation of our communities and our country at large.
For me, my take home was I learned how to save for the future, and also what I like the youth out there, and also the family, the iCON fellas and the children, is that to remain positive and always stay focused, so that you can achieve the goals that you've planned for the next years or so, so that you can also leave a legacy out there.
Today, I have been really, really inspired, celebrating the next cohort of iCON Fellows, but most importantly, seeing the intergenerational leadership in this space. We have had testimonies, stories from old people, from young people, from middle-aged people, and this has all been around self-leadership, workplace leadership, family leadership, and community leadership. So when we have all these in place and we are able to put action to it, I know that iCON will go places transforming society using the leadership model. So I'm really excited to have been here, and I urge all the iCON Fellows to keep spreading the word of leadership in all these 4 aspects. I'm not only talking about it, but
my journey with iCON has been good, and we've been working together with my children, and I've been able to train them and even talk much with them. Through my journey with iCON, I'm now able to change some people's minds. I can now talk to some people like women, mothers in my community, and through this journey, as we continue with iCON, I believe I will do great. I am looking forward to reach out to young boys and mothers in our village, and I know by the time I complete with iCON, I will be a strong woman.
So I want to urge all iCON Fellows, the past and present, to walk the leadership journey in action. We have learned, we have shared, we have networked, we have been exposed. So the most important thing now is to have actionable steps and actionable activities, so that we create a movement of leaders in our homes, in our places, in our communities, and in general in Uganda as a whole. So congratulations, and keep going.
It's really important for us to know as the youth what to do and how to lead our lives, especially when it comes to financial management, how to save, invest, and grow within this competitive world. It's important for us to learn how to manage work and life, how to involve our families in whatsoever we do, and how to grow as young individuals. And these were my take homes today. And as a fellow, I'm really so proud of iCON, and as they prepare leaders of not only tomorrow but also today, I'm glad to be one of that transformational process that will lead us to a better world.
Today, I have learned a lot that to build a legacy, you need to establish the foundation that brings on board the people that can always take on from you. So to build this legacy, there must be strong pillars. For example, build a team that you can delegate, build a team that you can instill in leadership skills, and then also build a team that is always be able to maintain the same values that you portray as the vision bearer.